Hey Gearheads, Jared here from Gearhead Grind, bringing you another update on the Stubbs build, our K5 Blazer chassis with a K10 or C10 cab and short bed on it for anyone that's new to the channel. But this week we're focusing on the electrical system and the interior of the truck, getting everything wired with the engine harness and all that fun. So I'm going to take you through what I've done. Basically, up till now, I've been focusing mainly on fabrication, getting the suspension dialed, the 4-link setup, coilovers, the rear suspension, all that stuff. So now this is a pretty hard shift. There's still a little fabrication because I'm doing like a little aluminum center console type thing. And I may mess around with the glove box a little bit. We'll see. That may be in the future though. But yeah, basically I need to wire in quite a few accessories as well as an SSV Switchworks like 12 switch panel, rugged radios, stuff like that. So I'm going to show you basically my game plan for that and wiring this whole truck from scratch. It is a time consuming process, but I like to not leave any of these 1970s wires in here. I'd rather just take care of it and know that it's all handled, not worry about things, and not have to figure out the stock wiring harness as well, where everything's leading and all that. So I'd rather just run my own wires, be done with it, and go from there. So I'll jump into what I've done so far, and which is just mainly tearing stuff out, and go into the rest of the game plan. All right, let's dig into it. One other thing worth mentioning, which is going to be once I finish the fabrication, I just have a couple small things left of the fabrication, and then on to more parts. So I'm accumulating parts. I've got 2 different sets of harnesses, going to figure out which ones I want to run the truck. I've got retro sound kit, so Bluetooth sound system that fits in the OEM hole. I've got Trick Manufacturing door strikers and the whole thing that holds the door and the latches and everything. I've got these SSV Works 12 switch panels, which basically the vast majority of the truck is going to run off of that. We've got brand new instrument cluster from Dakota Digital, which will be perfect for the LS swap, and everything's going to be run off that. And now what just showed up, I've got a vintage air system to replace. Let's go through the super messy shop here. So to make my life easier, I removed the stock heater and everything from the, where it goes in the hole, and that gave me room to run this tube without everything becoming more of a pain in the butt. So basically the vintage air system just has a flat plate on here, and then the whole blower assembly and everything's in the cab. So it's actually good I removed this. There's some rust I want to get covered and dealt with in here. Nothing too crazy, just a little surface rust basically. But everything was completely clogged with nests. So rodents had been in this truck for sure, just completely packed with crap in there. Basically wrappers and pine needles and all leaves, all sorts of stuff was crammed in there. So I don't know. I highly doubt it. If anyone wants the stock system, the radiator core does hold water actually, and the blower's got it's in decent shape. I mean, there's rust in there and everything. But yeah, both of these were just completely crammed with debris, basically. So excited to get that vintage air system in here as well. I figured I might as well get it because I'm going to be wiring the entire truck from scratch, basically, minus the engine wiring harness that I already have in here. And yeah, so I wanted to have that so I know exactly what to wire up. Those are going to be definitely some things to cover in future videos. And time to wrap up the fabrication. So welcome to the very messy interior of the truck. Just taking you through a few of the challenges. So one thing is the glove compartment door just barely rubs on the right side of the cage over there. I thought I allowed enough clearance, but I didn't the way it's designed. So I will have to look at that. That's going to be a future thing, and just like a small little update. The other thing is I removed the original heater control because I have a vintage air system coming, and I also have a retro sound radio with Bluetooth coming for that opening right there as well. And one annoyance is to get out the the heater controls. You can see the little holes there. That tube for the cage is kind of in the way. I didn't realize that the mounts for that were underneath there. So that took a little while. It should have been super easy to remove. It was a little bit more of a pain. And I had to unbolt my shifter in order to get to them. But that was actually okay because I have some switches here that go in the shifter as well for my reverse lights and my, I think, the neutral lockout or the park switch sensor, both of those for the transmission. So I need to install those anyway, so I need to get the shifter out, so that was okay. And then from there, I've basically been removing wires from under the dash. You can see it's pretty clean. I'm gonna get some paint under here. There's surface rust. I mean, it's just it's an old truck. It's a 50-plus-year-old truck. And a little dirty because it was on a farm, I think, or, it was at least in a field when I found it. But yeah, I've got the stock fuse boxes right there using those old style glass fuses. So that is out. I'll probably run my fuse block right there and make a little aluminum mounting plate for it and seal off that big hole. There's 2 big connectors in there. So seal off that hole to the engine bay. And then I'm making basically an aluminum console that's going to run here behind, next to the shifter, but behind the twin sticks. That's going to come down and allow a place to mount my rugged radio, which is just kind of sitting over there. Mount that radio as well as the SSV work shifter. So the game plan is basically keep some key items, like obviously keep the windshield wiper switch. I'll have to rewire that in. And I'm going to keep the key there, TBD on whether I'm going to integrate it. I do also want to pull a master kill switch into the interior here. So that's probably also going to be in that little center console that I'm making up, because previously it was in the engine bay, but obviously if there's a fire or something going on, it's not going to be the easiest thing to get to. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So basically I need to architect a whole wiring solution for this truck from scratch, and that always requires a fair amount of planning, including mapping out the engine harness. So those wires coming in, there's also an OBD2 coming into the cab over there. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it on that side of the cab or pull it over here, but yeah, I have to map out all of those wires and what they're going to. And yeah, so I'll try to take you through it, but it's just going to be drawing and mapping out a wiring harness basically for this thing. Time to update on the Vintage Air install. So I spent time assembling everything that they have you put on and they don't do from the factory. So the 4 hoses, you put on this insulation. Once you tighten down the fittings and all that, you put on this insulation as well. The plenums on 3 sides, all that. It's pretty easy stuff. Oh, and this bracket. All pretty straightforward and easy. The one big thing is make sure not to mount your firewall block-off plate before you do this, because you can then use that block-off plate in the holes to make sure that these 4 are properly aligned. If you did mount your firewall plate or whatever, you can just use a tape measure or something and measure the spacing between them and try to get it right. There's a little play. I mean, you ideally don't want to try to loosen them or move them after you've tightened the fittings, but there's O-rings in there and they are greased, so should be okay. Just because I mentioned it, here the instructions. So everything is detailed pretty well. I mean, some of the pictures aren't the best or don't have the most contrast, for example, but everything is okay being able to figure out. And they do give you cut templates as well. So this is for the passenger side. Yeah, I think. No, yeah, or for the driver's side. I don't remember. But this is for one of the sides for this guy, basically. So the outlet that we'll be installing. And then there's a center dash one as well. So let me show you those. So don't be like me. If you're going to try to plan your project ahead, I was not expecting to buy that Vintage Air kit when I did the cage. Thankfully, there is enough space, but this would have been super easy to just drill a pilot hole and hole saw these out. Instead, I came in with a plasma cutter and a die grinder to basically make those holes. And I'm gonna repaint this in black just to touch it up basically. And then there is the center hole in there as well. And over on the far side, let's see if we can zoom in. Yeah, we have the hole for the passenger side vent over there. So for that center one, it has this nice insert that goes in. I actually haven't tested this one yet. I do have the circular ones tested, but I'm gonna do the center and then touch up the dash as I mentioned, so we'll get a fresh coat of black paint and then start assembling everything. One other note is maybe if you are going to order this kit or you're going to be messing with your heat and air system, maybe get new vents for the dash. My driver's side one is still together and in one piece, but the passenger one, I tried to put this adapter on and this thing literally just crumbled in my hand. Like I'm able to just break off pieces with my thumb pretty easily. And they're not expensive. So a new set of these is like 25 bucks or something for the pair. So probably order those in advance. I have a set coming, they're on the way. So unfortunately I'll have to wait for those. And they are different between the driver's side and the passenger side. So this is the passenger side one, it's oblong, and the driver's side, for whatever reason, is circular. So that's basically where I'm at so far. Continuing to go through the instructions. And, oh, let me show you the firewall mount real quick. So on the passenger side, where the firewall is, I have the block-off plate mounted. Definitely possible to do with one person. I used wrenches on the inside to tighten all these and then socket on the outside. There's also the block off here. I only had white silicone, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I basically silicone that and then tighten it up. And I cheated. They give you a bar that mounts on the back, and it would be kind of a pain to try to get that aligned, hold this in place with the silicone and everything. So I just tacked that little retainer bar in place in there. And then they do tell you, I'm pretty sure they have you install these grommets ahead of time. And yeah, so everything's good there, looking good in the engine bay. And this is siliconed as well. There's no squeeze out on this side, but I'll show you what it looks like from the inside. Yeah, so I also siliconed the inside here. So all of the holes as well as just where the stock opening was. So double protected about any water getting in. And what I'm going to do now is some insulation over this just for heat and noise basically before moving on to the next steps of getting everything installed in here for the evap. But yeah, like I mentioned, I still got to touch up paint the dash and we'll go from there. So testing out this opening and I was trying to get this on the backside to install the vent into, and it was hitting something, and I looked in there and yep, that's obviously the speaker. So interesting design that they have you cut that hole, and I cut it perfectly to the dimensions they gave me. And it's hitting on the speaker there. And the irony of that is I just ordered a brand new speaker for that opening yesterday, and it's en route. So yeah, good time. So I'm going to take the speaker out for now, and then I'm going to figure out, I'll probably have to modify this and do some fun stuff with it. But yep, going to just take the speaker out for now and go from there. Time to start getting the front end assembled. I got parts back from powder coating today. Dude was nice enough to rush them out and even picked them up on a Sunday. Thanks to Brandon up at Premier Powder Coating in Buellton. So we got our front diff cover with the inspection port. I actually need to figure out where this plug is. I'm not even sure where it is. We have steering linkages for the front and the panhard bar as well. And then our 4-link. So I unwrapped them all. I picked out this bronze color to do everything in. It's got some metallic in it, if you can see it there. Looks pretty good. I didn't want anything to be like too overstated on this build because it's, a patinaed, older looking truck build, but I still want things to look nice and, have a little character to them. So yeah, I think this turned out killer. Can't wait to do more parts in this color. But yeah, time to start getting the front end assembled. So let me get them inside. I need to put all the heims on. I have the locking nuts on the heims where they should be from a length perspective, but I'm gonna double check all those when I assemble them, figure out the lefts from the rights and all that, and get things going.